Thank you for tuning in for this lunch episode, as usual. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we try to put these things out, roughly 3 to 4 minutes, talk about ways that you can become better spiritually, physically, emotionally, and mentally, all through better digestion of the gut. Pretty important stuff. Today I'm going to be talking about how to actually increase your sex drive without taking those blue pills. Because there's a way that you can do that through better digestion of the gut. And I'm going to talk about that now. If you're watching this at a later time, thanks very much for tuning in. But I wanted to talk, if you go back a couple episodes ago, where I talk about how much of the makeup you actually are, and we're about 10% human and roughly 90% bacteria. That's pretty phenomenal. How much is that? That's about 100 trillion human cells, and then you multiply that by 100 and the amount of bacterial cells. Basically, we have more bacterial cells than we have stars in the Milky Way. Pretty phenomenal stuff. So once you understand, again, the bacterial makeup of our cells in our body, that you can understand that pretty much everything is affected by the gut health, and specifically your sex drive. And most people think about, when you think about sex drive, it's low T. You hear those commercials a lot. And actually I had to pull over because I wanted to talk. I heard a commercial about the low T, and you take these pills and increase your sex drive. I want to explain something. So when you have low T, and for the dudes that are out there that have low T, think of it like this. Think of it as you are on a seesaw. Okay, and you're on the sloping end, you're on the downside of the seesaw, and that is basically your testosterone. It's pretty much nil. You know, you're looking at it, it's very low. So what happens when you take those pills, or when you take those T-boosting pills, what happens is you're artificially propping up your side of the seesaw. So basically you're just pushing up really, really hard, and you're going to get that boost probably very quickly. But what happens is when the body returns to normal and it does what it normally does, which means you go back to eating your regular foods and the processed foods and the refined foods, basically you're just going to start to shrink. You're going to start to go down again. And again, you're going to have to take those low T's again and then start to shrink back down. So again, you're forcing your body to do something that is not meant to do. Your body is meant to produce, your body is actually meant to procreate. That's all that really the body wants to do, is just live and procreate. Did you know that? So when you have low T, basically you're just trying to prop up that end that should be floating naturally. Don't you like this? This is pretty cool. Anyway, now how can you do that? Through better digestion of the gut. Well, actually the biggest culprit of low T is cortisol. And it's the stress hormone. And we're talking about mental stress, physical stress. When you eat crap foods, your body's under constant stress. If you have any questions, you can go back on an earlier video and watch it. But low T means high cortisol, low T. And so the best way to do that certainly is to lower your cortisol levels. Now I could say, all right, relax and do the Om and do yoga and all sorts of things. And of course you're going to think, hey, I'm going to lower my cortisol, but actually there's much more to it than that. And the way that you can do that is through probiotics. Actually probiotics, and there's plenty of studies, and I'm going to link to it below, but there's plenty of studies that have been done that by taking a significant amount of especially the probiotics that is found in yogurt, can actually help to reduce the cortisol levels that you have. And then reducing the cortisol levels, your testosterone actually is going to start to increase. Again, because it doesn't have to worry about the cortisol. Cortisol is a testosterone killer. So I can bet you if you go into any low T thing, and they're going to ask, they're going to focus on certainly the low T, but I can also bet you have a significant amount of cortisol, high cortisol. You have that gut. Your cortisol cells and receptors are actually right below your gut, so that you think, the beer gut or the beer belly, that's actually very significantly high cortisol levels. So focusing on decreasing the amount of cortisol, and the best way that you can do that is naturally found through probiotics. Basically, as I said, probiotics go through your body, and all they're going to do is start to shrink those cortisol cells, and it can naturally help you to increase your testosterone. So if you want to increase your testosterone, increase your sex drive, have a better sexual appetite, it sounds crazy. Anyway, but if you want to do that, focus on taking probiotics. You could take it through fermented foods. That's actually the best way to do it. Pills themselves are not the best way to do that. Again, those are dead cells, and you're trying to bring those to life, and if you already have a jacked up immune system, it's not going to help. So the way that you can do that is through living foods or fermented foods or probiotic foods. And again, I'm going to be talking about it a lot. You can look at videos about things that I suggest. You could do it through kombucha or kefir sodas or kefir yogurt or yogurt themselves or any dairy products or sauerkraut, pickles. But that's the way that you lower the cortisol and increase your testosterone. So I hope this was beneficial, worthwhile. If you liked it, click the like button or share or comment or do anything that you want. And focus on these. I'm going to be coming back Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Hopefully just some lunch tips for you to become better emotionally, physically, spiritually, and mentally, all through better digestion of the gut. Happy sexual hunting, folks. Peace.